Call the meeting to order. Our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everyone to tonight's school board meeting. Sarah, can you read our mission statement?
Yes, of course. The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Our next item is approval of the agenda. I hear a
Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion by Jeff and a second by Sarah Runcie to approve our agenda. Is there any corrections or additions? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. And the agenda is approved. Next item is our student recognition. As I've said before, this is my favorite part of any school board meeting that we do. So kids, thank you all for coming, and your parents and guardians. When you hear your name, just want you to stand so we know who we're talking about. And we're gonna say a short bio, each one of us, about you. So Mary, you can be first.
Perfect. We're going to start with Parkside, Clara Becknies. Hello. You've been nominated by Mrs. Barker. Clara is an exceptional young writer. She demonstrates a strong ability to clearly and thoughtfully express her ideas in writing. Whether composing engaging stories or posting insightful questions, Clara consistently produces high-quality work. She diligently incorporates all components of exemplary writing, including proper capitalization at the beginning of sentences, appropriate spacing between words, correct punctuation, and beautifully legible handwriting. Additionally, she takes great care in forming each letter with precision. It is evident that Clara has retained and applied the foundational writing skills she developed in kindergarten, and I'm incredibly proud of her continued growth and commitment to excellence in her writing this year. Congratulations.
Go any further, I forgot to remind you, I got certificates for each one of your kids, and if you could meet me back there by that banner, that Marshall Schools banner, after we get done here, we're going to take pictures. So, Sarah.
Next up is from Southview, Eudora Pablo Lopez. Nominated by Mrs. Copperwood. Eudora is a very kind student to everyone in her class. She loves to help others. Eudora is a friend to everyone. She'll see a need and jump right in to help with a caring heart. In the classroom, Eudora works hard to make sure she understands the lesson and will often ask questions when she does not understand something. She is such a hard worker. Eudora is responsible and taking time to read at home every night. Eudora shows all her tiger traits of being respectful, responsible, and safe daily in school. Congratulations.
Our next student is from the middle school, Alex Ramos. Nominated by eighth grade teacher, Alex comes to social studies every day with a positive attitude, a smile, and is ready to work hard. He is rocking pace. Alex is an incredible worker. He comes in prepared and ready to tackle all jobs before him each day. He enters with a smile, asks thoughtful and inquisitive questions, and is a great leader to others around him. He cares and shows great pride in his work, and he accomplishes each day. Alex lifts others up by the way he carries himself in language arts. From his positive attitude to his work ethic, he makes MMS a great place to be. Alex is a leader in advanced Spanish and advisory. He is a hard worker and willing to help others. He is a pleasure to have in class. He demonstrates a passion for learning math that is reflected in his performance. Alex stands out among his peers for his positive character. He is a role model within the classroom and beyond, and is always willing to lend a helping hand. Alex is always in a good mood, and it is contagious. In addition to his academic and personal achievements, Alex is involved in club soccer. His ability to balance school and soccer commitment speaks to his excellent time management and organizational skills. We are so proud to nominate Alex Ramos for the 8th grade Tiger Student Spotlight. Congratulations.
And I get to read the high school. Nayeli Meza was nominated by Miss Wendt, Miss Jensen, and Miss Kraus. Marshall High School is proud to recognize Nayeli Meza as our October Student of the Month. A dedicated and hardworking ninth grader and a member of the Marshall High School girls soccer team, go soccer, Nayeli consistently demonstrates a strong commitment to academic excellence. Her focus and attention to detail are evident in the high-quality work she produces across all subjects. Her science teacher, Mrs. Wendt, reports that in science class, she stands out as a natural leader and an exceptional lab partner, always contributing thoughtfully and helping elevate the learning experience for those around her. Teachers Kathy Kraus and Katie Jensen report that her quiet confidence and maturity make her a role model among her peers and a student that teachers truly appreciate having in class. Congratulations, Nayeli, on your recognition, hard work, and great start to your high school career.
Students, you can meet Mr. Coleman by the Marshall sign back here. He has a certificate and we're going to take a picture. Parents, if you'd like to come take a picture at this time, you're welcome to do so as well.
Pero primero sola, ¿eh?
Congratulations, Alex.
All go together.
¿Sí puedo? No, primero ellos, yo creo.
By themselves and then I'll do one all together and then they can do it by themselves.
Yeah, that's fine.
Out of your guys' way.
Let's give them one more hand.
You guys are all welcome to stay, but you don't have to, so,
Unless you're presenting, then you still have to stay.
yeah.
¿No?
There it is. Our next item is a public forum. Is there anybody from the public want to approach the board? Seeing none, our next item is our presentation on our pathways update. Welcome, you guys.
Peggy's going to introduce our guests today, and I'm excited to hear about an update from the Pathways classes at the middle school. And then she told me she's going to just do her introduction and let them kind of steal the show. So,
Well, thanks for having us. We were here about 4 years ago when we started our Pathways courses at the middle school, and just really excited about some of our updates that we've done over the last couple of years. Our Pathways classes are different than the traditional classroom, where they're designed to be hands-on activities. Quite often, they might explore a career path, and in all of them, they're very, very creative. So we're excited for them to give you some updates as to what's been going on in their classrooms the last couple of years.
When Peggy and I were deciding that this is what we wanted to present to the board, we decided that we wouldn't do these courses near enough justice as our awesome presenters were. So we've got Laura Morse, she teaches 6th and 7th grade Family and Consumer Science. Miss Runk, Sarah Runk, she teaches 8th grade Spanish. Erica Hess is our 8th grade PAYS teacher. And Leah Butel is our 7th grade ag teacher.
So we're going to step out of the way and let them be your presenters.
Oh, you gotta turn it on. It's on this side. Okay. Like I said, I'm Leah Butel. I teach 7th grade agriculture. Agriculture is just a quarter long, so we do fit quite a bit of information to these kids within the quarter or the 8 weeks. There's a lot of hands-on learning in this class, as you can see in the pictures. They're constantly doing activities, science projects, different things like that. Our main focus is plants, soils, animals,
agriculture technology and or egg byproducts. So it's pretty much everything that we have in our everyday life is what I am trying to show them where it comes from and how it is marketed, produced, and then sent out to everybody else. They do critical thinking and practical skills, especially through all these science projects that they do. And then it also builds a foundation for the high school classes that they will eventually take, or hopefully eventually take, and kind of spark that interest for them come high school. A lot of the times they are working in groups, so they are doing a lot of student collaboration with kids that they might not normally talk to. I do like to mix up the groups to see how they interact with each other, and I have seen a lot of friends come out of this when they're working together for 8 long weeks. And they love to work with different people, which is really nice to see. So when we're looking at everything that they learn a little bit more, our plant science, we analyze soil profiles and analyze soil composition. We actually go out door 14 here and the lunchroom area or the recess area, and we go take soil samples around the school grounds, and then we analyze that soil by doing soil testing, and then we're able to go back and give our analysis to either the maintenance, whoever is working on the grounds, to potentially, okay, where do we need to increase maybe some fertilizer, different seeding, different things like that. And the students conduct that test all themselves, and then we take the results to them. During animal science, we do hands-on experience, knot tying is one of the things we are doing. We do breed identification on top of that so they can see the different types of animals. Byproducts, they are very interested in this portion. We create pickles, or we make homemade pickles. We're going to do that here in a little bit. And then they make their own leather fob. First of all, they learn where all of that comes from, and then we go ahead and do the manufacturing of the actual product, which they actually enjoy doing. Agricultural technology, we're going to move more into that upcoming this year to get ready for the high school. So we're going to do shop identification, shop safety, lab safety, all of that so that they have this hands-on experience before they go up to the high school, which is something that the high school is really pushing for, which is nice. And then career exploration. Everywhere in agriculture, there is a career for somebody. It's not just working on a farm or working at a plant. They get to see all these different types of careers within the agricultural community. And then this just shows a whole bunch of different things that the kids have been doing and how they can take these skills that they learned and take them into high school with them. And then also has them learning where their food comes from, where their clothes come from, where everything comes from, and how they can make that everyday connection, especially considering that Marshall is an agricultural community, and a lot of them don't realize this. But then we go ahead and we look at the different industries that are in Marshall alone and make those connections as well. And some kids don't even realize that their families are tied to agriculture until they look into the careers. That's all I have. Do you have any questions? That's great.
Great job.
All right.
Great. It seems to be, it's kind of surreal. I miss Erica Hess, our 8th grade PACE teacher. The last time I was here, I had no clue even what I was doing while I was presenting to you. So this has come like, okay, I can actually talk about this without like a million note cards and, actually know what I'm doing, which is also in that sense of the program has just developed so much in this short amount of time. So I'm excited to give you some updates on what's changed for our, if you are unaware or just newer to PACE, there's 5 different career areas, and that's what each of those posters are up there: business marketing, computer technology, construction industrial, process production, and consumer service. This is the original PACE, the 265 jobs. Students, it's an 8-week or a 1 quarter long class, so they'll just go through as many jobs as they possibly can. The record, we have a record board, it was 170 something, so they don't even get a chance to nearly finish half of it, which is unfortunate, but at least they get a taste, and that's what it's all about. So that's kind of where it started. And then Mashup, I guess I can just kind of talk through some of the different areas and how it's evolved. The new additions that we have, Ours a medical lab. I don't know if this has a laser pointer on it too. I don't think so. But up in the middle picture on the top, you can kind of see the hospital bed there. Hotel and hospitality is a new addition to the PAYS lab. And when I say new, PAYS is this, it's not part of PAYS. It's kind of like our own PAYS, Marshall Middle School PAYS lab. This wouldn't be found in any other PAYS lab in the country. We are the only middle school that has a PAYS lab in the country. It's typically in a high school level where students are preparing themselves for the workforce. Judah Swisher, the creator of PAYS, says you don't know what a student can do without given the chance to try. So that's kind of what it is. It's a taste of a whole bunch of things. We're hoping that medical lab, once it's up and running, will help support our CNA program. You don't really know if that's your thing until you can kind of just try it and touch stuff and kind of get a little bit excited about it. What other additions? The nail desk, you can see a gal there sitting at the cosmetology desk. Hair and nails is down in the left corner, is a new popular addition that students, it's just still fun to listen to their conversations as they're trying new things. Sewing machine, they're loving that. I don't see anything else that's new.
Are they cutting each other's hair?
No, we don't do cutting.
Okay.
So we do brushing, braiding, curlers, and styling because we don't have the budget to keep buying more mannequins.
Sure.
But yeah, they do always ask that they would cut. Coming down the pipeline, so of course all these new additions cost dollars, but we've been so thankful and grateful to find grants. So none of the new additions have costed our school any money. So we've had lots of different grants that we've worked to get in secure, I guess. But with that come, before you have the materials, you can't create the job. So as the materials start to come, then the catch up is of creating the jobs. It's all self-guided, independent, step by step, where I'm that teaching students how to do the jobs. So it takes a long time in working with experts because I'm not a cosmetologist, I'm not in construction, I'm not in medical field. So reaching out, community members have been so awesome. Everybody who's an expert in any field I've contacted have just been more than supportive. But coming down the pipe just on Wednesday, Miss Link, our media arts teacher, has an art degree who also was a floral designer at Hy-Vee for many years. And so she went with me to help create our floral design job. So we're getting the flowers, or I have the flowers now, but now it's creating those arrangements, using that kind of art piece, because we didn't really have a lot of art jobs, within the 265. So that's exciting. And then a little preview, we're going to have a traveling middle school tiger arrangement, flow arrangement, that'll go around, and they'll have to fill out the order form and work on those communication skills. Same with the hotel and hospitality. That's a big one that the kids right now are using their graphic design skills, creating a menu for our restaurant. We don't have a lot of communication pieces. They're do the jobs, but you're quiet. You don't have to talk, to finish a lot of the tasks that are in PAYS. So that was something that a lot of the quieter students were like, I need to learn how to talk to people. That's so true. We all do. So we're working on those scripts and having our little PAYS restaurant as there's room. Oh, you can't quite see it, but there's a table that I had purchased with the grant. A little small, tall one, but it'll become our little restaurant. So, yeah. Cool. Any questions? Great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laura Morse. I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences teacher for 6th grade and 7th grade. I also was one of the original ones for Pathways for FACS, and we've come a long way as well. We now added 6th grade, so they have me for 2 years, so it's a quarter-long class, but they get me twice. So for 6th grade, we do foods, personal finance, and then relationships and character. So foods, it's super basic. We just learn all about kitchen safety, what measuring tools do we have, how do you read a recipe, what ingredients you might need, working with groups. So we make smoothies, mac and cheese. We just made mini pizzas today, and then we do sugar cookies as well, so they learn how to frost them. And then for personal finance, they learn all about checking account, savings account, credit cards, how to budget, what that even looks like how do I open a savings account? How do I get a checking account? When I get a job someday, what am I going to do? Where's that money go? How do I save? So that's really cool for them to learn. They learn how to write checks, which is kind of a lost thing. It's good for them to learn. And then for relationships and character, we just talk about respect, teamwork, making good choices. Just as they grow older, how to be a successful adult and how to be a good person. And so that's a lot of team building and kind of a lot of SEL, and that's a good way for me to like get to know them a lot better, because it's really fun to see them like interact with each other and as they grow throughout the class. And then when they come to me in 7th grade, we just introduced interior design this year. So with my classes, it's a guiding point to have them for high school, so then they can pick, like, do I want to do foods? Do I want to do interior design, fashion design? Do I want to do child development? And so with interior design, we talked about like the room functions, the floor plans, like the layouts of things. So I gave them a tour of the school actually, and we talked about like why rooms are the way they are, and like why we kind of have a rotunda, and why certain things are sectioned off, and then looking at the texture of the walls and just different things that they see with the elements and principles of design. That's really fun. And then they got to actually design their own room this year. So that was really cool. I gave them an unlimited budget. I just wanted to see where their creativity took them. And it was actually really fun to see. Like, I thought that they would just be really basic, but they went above and beyond and found really cool things to look at. But then it also gave them a realistic expectation of like, oh, that's how much that stuff costs. Like, okay, maybe I need to save up if I want those types of things. And then we'll do sewing as well. So they did hand sewing in 6th grade, and we just got machines through our Taco Bell grant. So they're going to learn how to use the sewing machine, and then that will link them to Pays Lab when they get up there, and they'll know how to thread the needle and do the bobbin. I'm hoping to make a few more things with that. We did monsters last year and then mini pillows. So I'm hoping to do like lanyards or scrunchies or keychains, things like that. And then they do foods as well, but it's a little more advanced. So they just did muffins, and they actually, each kitchen had their own recipe. So they couldn't look at others and be like, oh, what do I need to do next? So then they had to figure out how to do each one on their own and actually go through like dry ingredients versus wet ingredients. And then we did French toast, and they actually had to practice plating them and like have them fancy, like if they were at a restaurant. And then I sent it out to all the staff, and they got a vote on who had the best one. So that was really fun for them. And then we're going to do some grilled cheese wars. So they come up with their own recipe and kind of have to come up with an advertisement for it, and then they compete with the class. So just a few more advanced things, giving them more independence of like, okay, here's your recipe. How do you go through it step by step? Like we practiced kind of going together last year, but now this year, how do you do that? And then overall, like, why are classes so important? It's not just an elective class, but I think it's essential. It just teaches kids how to become adults. So whether that's learning how to manage your money, cooking a meal, taking care of a child, or just preparing for any of the careers that we're linked to, it just helps you connect real life, which I think is super important for our students, because they're always wondering, like, how is this going to help me as I get older? And that's basically what my class is to help them connect to real life and thrive in the community. But that's about all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
Looks great.
Buenos tardes. I'm Sarah Runk, and I'm the Spanish teacher for 8th grade. So we have 2 different Spanish classes. This is something a little bit new in the last year. So all 8th grade students will take Spanish. They'll take the exploratory Spanish, and it's a quarter-long class where they'll focus on cognates, the Super 7 verbs, which are the 7 most commonly used verbs, calendar, geography, and culture. We do that through so many different things. We do games, we do interviews, we do music, readers' theater, illustrations. They get experience with calendar, escape rooms, crafts. They basically go from not having any experience, or most of them not having any experience with Spanish, to reading a novel by the end of the quarter. So that's our novel that we read, El Capibara con Botas, and it always is a favorite of the students. We act out different scenes from the books. They get to be a capybara, and that's always a fun highlight for them. And then last year we added the advanced Spanish class, and this really serves our students who already speak Spanish. It's a really unique opportunity for them to get to explore their bicultural identity and be proud of the fact that they are already multilingual. And it really celebrates that for them. So we focus a lot on Spanish literacy skills, because a lot of these students know how to speak and understand Spanish, but they haven't had any experience reading or writing in Spanish. So we do a lot of the same things, just at a much deeper level in that class. Why is Spanish important? It is the second most spoken language in the United States, and then there are just a number of cognitive and social benefits. It helps students to leave their comfort zone a lot. And so I know learning Spanish is not going to be the passion of all the students, but they still get a lot out of these classes just for getting exposure to new things. A lot of them get to learn a little bit about several different countries and get to know a little bit more about what is different in the world. So, and it encourages and empowers them to go on to high school Spanish and encourages their problem solving skills, and just it's also a lot of fun. Some pictures of some of the things that we've done. They get to do a project, the Yo Soy posters. They get to describe themselves in Spanish, and they really enjoy that one. In my advanced Spanish, we've done cooking where they get to share a recipe that's important to their family, and if there's a simple one that we can do within the classroom, this one was arepas, and Luis taught us how to make arepas, how he does at home. We do a Valentine's speed dating in Spanish, and they get to go from table to table and they have to ask each other questions using the language that they've learned. We made a Tío Nadal, which is a little wood guy who is a tradition in December. And so they got to create their little guy, and then they had to describe them, and then they actually had to present to a small group about their little guy and talk about the body parts that he has and where he lives and what he likes to eat. Then the other two are just an escape room that we did, and then the last one is the Reader's Theater, where we're acting out part of the novel that we read. That's all I have for you. Do you have any questions?
Very good. Thank you all.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I might want to go back to school.
When you say it's fun in Spanish, I just have to share that when I was in high school, we had German, and it was not fun.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Next item is approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. It's a motion by Sarah Runcie and a second by Tim to approve the consent agenda. I will call for the vote. And that is approved. Next item is action item approval of the bills for September of 25.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Jeff and a second by Sarah Brink to approve the bills for September. Any further discussion? I will call for the vote. And the bills are approved. Financial treasurer's report, any discussion there? Anything?
I don't have anything specific to add. It's pretty
Okay.
early in the year yet.
All right. Any board reports? The facilities committee meeting met right before this meeting. We discussed the thing at the high school that we're almost done with the automated systems update, and it's going very well. It came in at 18% under budget, and right now everything is working great. They have one more meeting with the commissioning unit, which checks everything that Johnson Control did, but everything went great, it sounds like. So, and we also discussed some needs in our food service. We need a steamer at the middle school and the high school, and we're working on grants. Tricia's working on grants to pay for those, and then a few district-wide projects. Parkside has some temperature control challenges as well. Southview, we had to, or we're going to change a handicap door. It wasn't working correctly. Middle school, we're looking into a roofing project and the parking lot, and this is all over, this is not immediate, this is all over the next few years. And then the high school, we're gonna have to seriously get to looking at the roof, so that'll be over the next 2 to 3 years. and a few other minor things. So that's what we discussed. Anybody else have anything?
Just share, I can share with those projects you talked about. We're looking at LTFM funding would be how we fund those projects as well.
Yes. Thank you. Your reports now, Jeremy.
Yeah, so just a reminder to the board, the site reports look a little different this year. Rather than getting a long report from each site, there's a kind of a bullet point list from each site, and then I'll just kind of share my update like I've done in the past. So the full list is posted, or the full report is posted for you, and I'll just kind of go through a little bit of update from each site. My report, first of all, just referendum continues to be a big project for us. Community outreach, it continues to be a big piece for Sarah and I. That's a lot of where we're spending a lot of our time right now, making sure people are informed ahead of the vote. Early voting is still taking place here in the district office, and the election day is November 4th. That will be the final day. Election, all of the voting takes place here in the district office. Just a reminder to community members, the district is facing what's nearly a $2 million deficit. So the request is to ask community to consider this operating referendum that will keep projects and programs in place. We just heard a great presentation from some of those classes that would be impacted by this, because those are the type of classes that are the extra things that are so great for our kids, and I think we've got such great things taking place. The ask is to try and keep those things in place. Without that, board authorized reductions that would happen for next school year if that is not successful. So that's a big focus of our time right now. A couple other things I share in my report. We do watch enrollment. October 1st is the big enrollment date. That's the date that counts for our counts with the funding from the state. Right now, we are up 19 students from where we ended last year, but we are 14 less than where we started last year. So enrollments, it's always fluctuating. Enrollment trends certainly vary a lot by site. We monitor it throughout the school year, but we do tend to have fewer students at the end of the year than we have at the beginning of the year. Every year is a little bit different, but that tends to be what we see. Skip plans are attached. We'll talk about those in a few items here coming up, but each site has really worked to align some their skip plans for this year, their site continuous improvement plans. They are aligning them to the district strategic plan, specifically in reading, math, and SEL. That's where we have the specific goals. This year it was an additional challenge because we have the new assessments we've talked about. So we've used NWA for as long as I've been in the district. That's been how we've measured. It's been 25 years. That's been how we've measured for our site plans. And without NWA, with some new assessments and new data coming in, that certainly has impacted what those goals look like this year. So I want to say thank you to all the principals. That has been a lot of work, giving thought to how we're going to set some goals that are certainly challenging, but still realistic and focused on growth for all of our students. So I feel the plans we're presenting to you tonight are very well done and really will highlight the growth we're seeing in all of our classrooms with the new benchmarks that we've set. Finally, I just want to share with you, Rotary Dictionary Project is a project that happened with a Noon Rotary group. It's happened for a lot of years. A lot of you are familiar with that. If you've had a kid go through Marshall schools, they've come home with a dictionary as a third grader. We've done it for every third grader in the town for a number of years. With just the changes of student needs, the Rotary has decided to discontinue that the dictionary project this year, but they're replacing with a book donation initiative. So they're going to do a literacy event that will take place next week at Southview. So every student will receive a book from Rotary at South Conference, every student from Southview. So we're going to start with one building and kind of build that. So a new tradition will be starting this year. So that's pretty significant change for the Rotary group, certainly in partnership, but we appreciate that connection with the schools. I'll go through each building, then Parkside. She highlights fire prevention. October has been Fire Prevention Month. A lot of things taking place there. Our kindergartners every year visit the fire department, so I want to say a big thank you to them for hosting our kindergartners. Come and see the trucks. That's always an exciting thing for them. That went really well. We did bus safety has taken place at all the sites, but Darcy highlights it specifically in her report. Preschool to first grade is done with that. She also highlights the parent workshops. This was a grant they got from Southwest Health and Human Services. I think she shared that in last month's report. The first workshop was October 2nd. The next one is December 4th, and registration information is listed in there. If parents are interested in learning more about that, you can call the preschool office and sign up for those workshops. At Southview Elementary, he highlights their SEL classes as a social emotional learning classes. We have a new SEL teacher at Southview, along with a counselor. They're splitting up those classes, still using the second step curriculum in that building to teach some of those skills to the kids. He also highlights they are working on WIN, so it's what I need, and math intervention times. It's really how we're doing some differentiation within our math, making sure we're meeting those individual needs there. Some good things taking place at Southview with that. At the middle school, recently had first quarter conferences. A lot of our sites have had conferences. We had about 25% parent attendance at the middle school this year. Something that they did a little different this year was nice. We featured some student art and history projects, so something additional for people to come and see when they come for conferences. That was good. Challenge we've seen probably, or I would say a challenge at every site this year. With language arts, there's new standards for language arts this year. There's new curriculum for language arts this year. The curriculum was actually up in review cycle to be replaced for last year. We pushed it back. We're waiting for implementation of the new standards and with the READ Act, all the changes there. So they've got new standards, new curriculum, and then we have the new assessments that READ Act is required of us. So a lot of change for our language arts teachers this year. That meant some changes to the grade book, and Peggy and Bennett specifically at the middle school have done a lot of work working with staff and just trying to align how that's going to look. So I appreciate the work that's taking place there, and certainly the work our teachers are doing. I know they have a lot on their plate, especially with the language arts department, and really appreciate the work that they're doing. There's some really good things happening there. Unfortunately, the training for the middle school and high school language arts teachers has been pushed back another year. So they're training for the READ Act. Well, it's unfortunate it's going to happen a year from now. They don't need one more thing on their plate right now. So we have the new curriculum, everything happening, and then the training comes next year for how we can do some additional interventions and such for applying the science of reading with our older kids. But some really good things taking place. Certainly, middle school specifically calls it out in the report. I also want to call out the flex time. That's a new class time that's taking place in middle school this year, some flexibility time during the class. Highlight there is some time for interventions and some time for enrichment. So now that we have the CAPTE data, that's our new reading test data, that will impact how we group kids starting in second quarter, and that's where some interventions and such will take place within the classroom. So excited to have that time in the day to be able to do that very individual time there. She also calls out in the report some STEAM activities and some other different things that are taking place within there. So some good things happening for kids during that time of the day. Finally, there's been some staff PD happening this fall at the middle school. She calls out some specific teachers, Lexi Gifford, and some IXL training. She's just kind of taking a leadership role in the site with that. So helping ELA and EL teachers with that. Nick Dunn has been a great resource with the new grade books with language arts and science. He's been in a couple different positions in the district, so appreciate the work that he's done. And then our special ed team is also preparing a district-wide PLC presentation for staff focused on special ed just best practice procedures, how to support our students there. So we appreciate the work that all those teachers are doing to support their peers. The high school, Brian often shares the updates of grading. So we just had the 6-week grading update came out. We are at 86.3% of students are passing all classes. That is up from 83.7% last year, so nice to see that increase. Grade 11 is where we're seeing the most failing students right now, most classes being failed. So certainly that helps us target, we look at that data, helps us target where we provide some additional intervention or support for students that are needing it. The Career Expo that's hosted each year through the Service Co-op. This year was hosted at the Red Baron Arena. That moved from the college to Red Baron this year, but we had over 1,000 students attend that regional event in late September. That was good. Indigenous Peoples Day was last week. The Honor Society at the high school led presentations for students to learn about Indigenous Peoples Day, and speaker Dr. Anita Gall visited some history classrooms and visited with students about Native American history in classrooms there, so we appreciate her coming and doing that for us last week. Finally, last Friday was Career Speakers. So they've started this last couple of years. It's something that Shanda Walker helps host. For high school students, this last round was for seniors. We have from 12 different professions. Professionals came and just spoke about their careers and helped students learn a little bit more about some different opportunities that exist within our community, and that will continue for other grades in future weeks. At the ALC, they also had all their sophomores, or 10 students that attended the career fair the same day the high school kids went. He's doing a lot of really good things at ALC. I'm excited about some of the work Dan's putting together with his team and with the teachers at the ALC this year. One of the things they're really focusing on is attendance. So doing some attendance initiatives to encourage students to be in school. They've gotten a grant to be able to do some fun things, some meals and some different activities with them. The first event is planned for October 31st, so to celebrate students who met the attendance criteria for first quarter. They are also implementing some I-time activities. That's the bar things. School board got to do some of those at work session last time round. The I-time and U-time activities take place at Southview Middle School, High School, and this is new with the ALC, but that's part of their work with attendance, just knowing students are more connected are more likely to be in school. Finally, at the CTI, he highlights the small engines class. That's a new class out there. That class is doing really well. So is this welding class and CNA programs. A lot of things taking place that Dan highlights in there. But just the CTI classes are always, that's a group of kids. It's so fun to see them engaged in school. I was at the high school the other day, and there was a group of guys leaving. I said, "Where are you guys all going?" So it was a big group of boys leaving. We're heading to CTI, and there was not time to go to class yet. But other class was over, it was lunchtime, but they were excited to head over there and get started. So it was just fun to see that excitement. Our department updates within activities, marching band recently placed 7th at the Youth and Music Festival, and our color guard earned top honors at the Festival of Bands in Sioux Falls recently. Girls tennis, for the first time in school history, reached section semifinals, and soccer also was in section semifinals, so they've had good seasons. And Mitch also shares in his report that senior pass sales are up 10% from last year, so more people looking at that season pass opportunity. I think the GoFan has been well utilized this year. Of course, we have lots of other activities going on as well. Our football team and volleyball team continue to do very well, so we look forward to additional things from those teams as we finish out the fall season, and winter season will be starting soon. Operations, Matt shared we had a facilities meeting earlier. The high school building controls project is nearing completion. It's tracking 18% under budget right now, so that project has gone really well, and the high school system is finally working as we're expecting it to work. It's been that building's 20 years old, and it was time to do some updates there, so that's been a good project this summer. At the ALC, we had some work that took place with the driveway. The exits to that driveway just needed to be kind of rebuilt, so that work started over MEA break, just trying to improve traffic flow and access for our buses and such in there. So through our lease with that, the service co-op is helping to fund that, and then that will be part of our lease payments to that on that site going forward to cover the cost for that. In finance, Sarah shares that the self-insurance fund, we have been self-insured for a few years now. We are showing, they had a review recently, we're showing 137% loss ratio, and there are some additional high case claims increasing there. Our target with the self-insurance fund is 85%, so certainly something we're continuing to monitor. There was a significant premium increase this past year, and that was aimed to help stabilize that fund overall. So continue to watch that as we go through the year. This year, it's like she said earlier, it's still very early in this year. She also shares some investment updates. We have a total of $12.3 million in our MSDLAF accounts, and Sarah, you can define that if you want to. CD rates are slightly lower than they've been previously, but ranging from 4.15 to 4.7% with our CDs, but continuing to make sure we're using investments wisely so we have funds available as we need. In teaching and learning, we recently hosted a substitute training. We had some new subs came, people interested in becoming a sub for the district. This was for any sub position. We opened it up, had some community members show up. We also had some people who have been subbing and just wanted to know more about the district that came. So that was, it was a good session. Beth and who did that with her? Kate did that with her. Couldn't remember who was in there. Beth and Kate did that. It was just a good session. They had a lot of good questions, and people are certainly excited about subbing. We always need substitutes. She also shares the fall benchmarking data is being analyzed. The CAPTI Read Basics, as I mentioned, is new, so there's been training sessions from CAPTI with each of the sites specifically, helping them set some goals and use just look at how to use that data to guide instruction. That's what we're most excited about with CAPTI, is it will directly impact our classroom instruction and intervention processes. We just have to learn how to read the data and understand it. So those training sessions have been good, and I think they're giving us some good ideas how to use that. Certainly our instructional coaches at each site are a big part of that work taking place too. There were recently some changes with the teacher evaluation plan. There were some state requirements, but the biggest change with that was with the new contracts. There's, without the personal goals that teachers had previously, that was part of our teacher growth overall summative evaluation. So some shifts in that, and that will come to you for approval. And finally, the CACR plan. Beth and I have been working on that. That is what replaced the World's Best Workforce Plan. So that's on the agenda for later tonight. It really lays out in a one document. I can't say one page, it's a multi-page document, but it lays out where we're at as a district, what's going on with our teaching and learning processes. I feel that plan is very comprehensive, laying out all of our goals and all the different pieces across 5 different readiness areas identified by the state. At the same time, we're working on that. What's on the agenda to be approved tonight is next year's plan, but we're also working on data from last year's plan. So some good conversations in there as we're aligning strategic plans and site plans. Finally, in special ed, Jackie highlights DAPE services. That's our adaptive PE classes. Doing a lot of service outdoors. Just the weather has been exceptionally nice this fall, so that's been good for the students to get more time outside, really focused on motor skills. And she shares our deaf, hard of hearing teacher is supporting students with auditory equipment and instruction in some key skill areas as she works with students across the district. That's my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Jeremy. Any questions for Jeremy?
Unless you want to know what MLDAF stands for, and I'll defer to Sarah.
Our next item is discussion item, second review of policies 428, 413-04, and the MSBA, MASA table of contents. So we will review this one more time and vote on it at the next meeting. Any discussion on these? Action item, our next item is approval to hold a special meeting on Monday, November 10th to canvass the special election.
Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion by Jeff and a second by Sarah Runcie to approve the special meeting date on November 10th.
So this meeting is required following the election. Our next board meeting is the day before the election, so we need to canvass the results obviously after the election. It'll be a brief meeting. It'll start at 4:00 p.m. in this room.
Very good. Any further discussion? I will call for the vote. And that is approved. Next item is approval of the site continuous improvement plans for 25-26.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
So a motion by Sarah Brink and a second by Jeff to approve the skip plans for this year. Any further discussion?
Nothing individual call out. These are the plans we just talked about. Certainly significant changes in all of them this year. You'll see the changes with the reading goals specifically. Dibbles was used last year in Parkside's plan. That was a change that happened as early as last year with Parkside. But for all the other sites, there's no longer we don't no longer will have NWA data. So the CAPT and then for 4th grade it's Dibbles as well. So some new assessments for reading, which also meant some changes for math. So we're looking at different ways of measuring math progress as well. We're using the MCA in ways we haven't used the MCA for measuring progress before there. That's a significant change. SEL goals for the most part look similar to the past. You will see some changes in there specific to attendance. So we're looking at chronic truancy, chronic absenteeism, that students missing 10% or more of the school year. That's a conversation we've been having for a couple of years, but really started digging that last year, specifically middle school, high school. We set some goals within that with our CACR plan, which we'll approve next. The CACR goals was to reduce chronic absenteeism by 50% in 5 years. So we set some targets last year on that. Buildings did a really nice job with that, and you'll see some goals in almost all the skip plans tied very specifically to that, to SEL, knowing that students, again, who are in school are more likely to be engaged and being successful in school. So other than that, the plans look very similar to the past. The operational plans align directly to our district operational plan, which is part of the strategic plan.
Very good. Any further discussion? I will call for the vote. And the skip plans are approved. Our next action item is approval of the Comprehensive Achievement and Civic Readiness Plan for
Motion to approve.
25-26.
Second.
Was that Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
A motion by Jeff and a second by Tim to approve these plans. There it is. Is this what used to be the world's best workforce
Yeah.
and they change it? every year.
Yeah,
so
they
we
changed
have
it
to make it more
comprehensive
difficult.
achievement and civic readiness. We were joking and we said we're going to call it the CACR because we couldn't remember comprehensive achievement, civic readiness. But we actually had a meeting with someone from the state the other day, and they referred it to as the CACR as well. So it's not, we weren't as creative as we thought we were, but an acronym for everything in education. But the CACR plan, it looks at comprehensively where we're at academically across multiple different areas. The 5 identified goal areas. This is where that attendance plan grew out, or the attendance goal grew out of. I think we have a very good plan. I'm excited about the plan. Each year we look at the data overall. How are we doing as a district? I think there's some good data in there. I'm excited to share with you, and we'll continue. Beth and I work primarily on putting that together and monitoring it throughout the year.
Thanks, Jeremy. Any further discussion? I will call for the vote. And that is approved. And that being our final item, I will adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.